Town Council for August 19th, 2024 at 7 o'clock. All council members are present with the exception of Councilmember Wilkes. Would you please stand as we honor our flag for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first up on our agenda is public comments. Public comments is an opportunity for town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items not on the agenda. This comment period is limited to the first 30 minutes. Total time with each individual allowed to a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. You must sign up ahead of time in order to comment, and that sign up begins 30 minutes before the start of the meeting. The council will accommodate as many speakers as possible during this time, with preference to town residents, but if public comments extends beyond the allotted 30 minutes, town council will continue the comment period at the end of the meeting prior to adjourning for those who signed up before the meeting. And so we do allow, if you haven't signed up on this sheet, we will allow you, given time, we will allow you to come up and use your 3 minutes. We have received 3 written public comments that will enter into tonight's record, and you'll see that online. So without further ado, we'll give the first 3 minutes to Tina De Los Santos. And if you will, and understanding the sensitive nature of this for you all, I appreciate it. If you will give us your name and your where you're from, that's
Colorado.
Aziz. Perfect. All right. After you intro, and I'll give you your time.
Tina, I live here in Parker. It's confusing on why our town council and town manager continue to call the Parker Pride Fest a private event. According to the town's special events permit document, if the event is advertised on social media, Facebook, which it was, and there are tickets available for purchase, which tickets were sold, it is a public event. So why are you choosing to call it a private event? What is your intent with trying to label it as a private event? Why are the two permit documents in conflict with each other? It has been indicated that the police presence on August 4th, with at least 3 snipers, 2 drones, K9 units, etc., were off-duty police officers hired by the event organizers' private security. If that is true, the taxpayers shouldn't be paying for this show of force, correct? And who determined that there was an extreme threat level coming from a group of grandparents and great-grandparents praying? And are we sure as a community we want to put our law enforcement officers who are following someone's orders in a position against praying community members? Does our community really want to create a division with our police officers and the people of this town? And what was the extreme threat level based on? Was it based on accusations from an organization that considers it appropriate to hand out female condoms, fentanyl testing strips, and Narcan at a family-friendly event? As a community, do we want our children to be sexualized? Why are Quora requests going almost unanswered? I did get an answer finally right before I walked out the door for a charge of $620. Why are Quora requests, or what is being hidden from the taxpayers? So many questions without answers. I respectfully insist that there is a public meeting held with the town council, town manager, police chief, and mayor where questions can be asked and answered honestly. We need transparency and accountability. We need the innocence of our children to be protected. What is hidden needs to be revealed. Let's come together to discuss this and stop the pointing of fingers to others. We all own this problem and it needs to be addressed openly. And in closing, I would like to quote Matthew 18:6. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. We as a community are all guilty in not protecting the innocence of children. We need to repent and stand up for our most vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. De Los Santos. Next up is Tiffany.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany, and I'm a resident of Parker, Colorado.
Great, go ahead.
I'm going to start with 2 Chronicles 7:14. And my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, Then I will hear from heaven, will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. Heavenly Father, thank you for giving me this platform to declare your truth and to honor you. Lord, I pray that you show mercy upon this town. I pray that those who have knowingly and unknowingly participated in the public events of August 4th, 2024, turn to truth, accountability, and repentance. I pray that there will be conviction placed upon their hearts in such a mighty way that they can only speak the truth. It is in your name that I pray. Amen. I am here today to call a public meeting and that the incidences of August 24th be placed on the agenda. On August 4th, a group of Christians peacefully gathered in prayer at a public location during a public event in Parker. The prayer group was targeted and intimidated by the use of multiple snipers, drones, K-9 unit, SWAT, and Parker police officers. The police were given unlawful and unconstitutional orders and targeted and arrested several individuals that purchased tickets to the public event and were allowed entry. They were charged with criminal trespassing. The calculated first arrest was that of the lawyer who was there to represent the Christian prayer group. Grandparents, parents, and a Christian community were targeted. Who gave the orders to send in a task force to intimidate a prayer group? Who paid for the weaponization of the Parker task force? Who deemed this Christian prayer group a domestic threat? We want answers. We are putting you on notice today, and some of you are up for re-election. Woe, Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. I pray that each of you here tonight choose to do what's right. If we remain silent and complacent, what was once a horse town will become Denver. We have Venezuelan cartel coming into our neighborhoods where our children play. Christians are being targeted. Free speech has been attacked. It is your time to stand and do what is right. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Tiffany. Next up is Meredith Rudolph.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Meredith Rudolph. I live in the town of Parker. And I'm very appalled at the events in my town I grew up in. I went to Ponderosa High School, graduated when it was first built. And this is what our town has become. Salisbury Park, we walk up, there are 2 drones, 3 snipers, a command center, and police. There were more people there from out of town than there were in town, which I don't believe it was representative of our values, which speaking of our values, I believe this, I just have 2 topics tonight, including shared spaces with children, family-friendly spaces, and the right to free speech. The first one, we don't play R-rated movies at O'Brien Park. We don't play R-rated movies for the safety and protection of all of our community and the betterment of society, because that's offensive. I think you all would agree. We don't show Porky's in O'Brien Park. And my second point, to right to free speech. I agree, we all have right to free speech in the public square. If you rented that space to an anti-Semitic group, that's protected by free speech as well. Would you stand so upright if they were arresting Jews? Where would your tolerance be then? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Next up is Dana Bonham.
Dana Bonham, Douglas County. We came to the meeting last time on the 5th, the day after the Pride Fest event, to tell our story and to ask questions. It was an emotional day as we felt we were the object of the snipers and all of that other stuff instead. And here we are, concerned citizens and citizen journalists. At the council meeting, the only comment was from Mrs. Hefta telling us that the Parker Police Department is doing a wonderful job in spite of what others think. Now, we honor, respect, love our police department. But to minimize the impact that the 3 snipers, the 2 drones, the K-9 unit, and the police command center had on us that day is what I said on Facebook, tone deaf. And so I used those exact words. After that, we just asked questions. And I was personally attacked by Mrs. Hefta and even doxxed. Now, let me tell you that a lot of people on Facebook use pseudonames, pet names, my cat. A lot of different reasons for that. Our personal safety, employment reasons. She doxxed me on Facebook, and she put my safety at risk. That was wholly inappropriate. The fact remains, though, that we respect law enforcement, but we have serious questions regarding that day. Why was it necessary to have that police force on hand? It was indicated on Facebook that there were a series of threats against the Parker Police Department. I don't know if these were pertinent to that event or if they're just ongoing. Were these threats vetted? Were they from any of us? Those are questions we want to know. That would be wholly inappropriate for any of us to do. So that is not something that any of us would do. But that's not the kind of police force that you employ against everyday citizens. I've spoken with Town of Castle Rock, members of Town Council, and they were involved in the decision for Douglas County Fair Parade. They had 3 snipers total for thousands of people at the Douglas County Fair Parade, as many as there were for 30 or 40 people coming and going at Pride Fest. It was a public event. We had 5 people arrested, taken in handcuffs to the command station. This is a serious matter, and it demands serious questions. We are asking for a meeting because our constitutional rights were frankly violated that day. We're asking for a special meeting regarding the events of that day and the show of force ordered for that event. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bonham. Next up, Brad Bergford. I don't see him in the audience. We'll pass on to Holly M.
Good evening. I'm here to echo the sentiments of the previous speakers.
Holly, can you hold the microphone a little bit closer to you?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
I live in Parker. I've lived in Parker since April of 2010. I have never seen such division and discord as I saw culminating in the events of that Pride Fest weekend. Pride Fest is not for everyone, I understand. But A, it should not be geared towards children, and the events should not be labeled as family-friendly, as the vendors there were exhibiting items only meant for adults. I believe some of them were mentioned earlier. Pride Fest Anya Zavadil claimed they were tip certified, which only applies to the liquor license she received approval for. However, there were people collecting tips for drag entertainers as children were present. The police presence was a blatant show of force against a peaceful gathering of people who were inexplicably not allowed to enter what was billed as a family-friendly and public event. The police presence did not show neutrality at all, and in an unexpected turn of events, threatened and arrested citizens simply for exercising their right to free speech and free assembly. I also noticed that the Parker PD has enjoyed a community of relative peace until Pride Fest partnered with Parker PD to divide and threaten our denizens. Parker Police Department has been engaged on all social media platforms. However, I did not see anything about the arrest of local citizens on any social media platform. One would think that if there was a danger posed by a criminal, let alone several criminals in the same confined space, that it would be broadcast on every social media platform as usual. But in typical Marxist fashion, Pride Fest played their cards and went after people who didn't do anything except simply exercise their rights to free speech. So a way to flex the government arm there, Pride Fest. I'm tired of pretending that this trans and drag ideology isn't harmful on multiple fronts, not the least of which is our children. How many generations have to be harmed for this to keep happening? What are we doing here? What are we doing to our kids? Is this the message that we really want to send to our kids? This is what we're going with? We're going to arrest people who are outside praying for you? Are you kidding me? Here, have some condoms. Have a fentanyl test strip. For God's sake, what are we doing here? It's unbelievable to me that I'm even having to stand up here. I can't show my face. I can't.
And Holly, that's going to have to conclude your comments.
Yes, sir.
3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Chris Opfer.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I'm here to talk to you about something equally as weighty, and that's parking. We can maybe laugh a little bit. It's a joke. All right. So my name is Chris Ott. I'm an attorney here in Parker. My law firm is just across the street. I actually am here representing a family from the Stroh Ranch community. And I need to be clear that several others have reached out to me as well regarding this issue independently. But the family I represent had a work conflict and could not be here this evening. I'm here because of actually HOAs regulating parking in public right-of-ways, again, equally as weighty. To keep it short, no attorney in history has ever done that. I will do my best here. We go back to 2001, and we look at Parker Municipal Code 10.170. Parker actually precluded HOAs from regulating parking on public roadways owned by Parker. There was a grandfather exception. There's some specifics around that. I won't go into it for time purposes. We then fast forward to 2022, and there was House Bill 1139 that was passed by our state legislature, which again banned HOAs from regulating public rights-of-way. And it was pretty straightforward, and I'll tell you, it was a riveting legislative session, but it actually expanded it to ditches and things like that HOAs can no longer regulate. Even the Department of Regulatory Agencies came out and said, again, HOAs cannot regulate public rights-of-way based on this legislation. I would note that Stroh Ranch's own attorney on their blog said, hey, you can no longer regulate parking on streets within your neighborhood unless you own the street, and that's a different issue. And yet the reason I'm here before you is that we have at least one association, there's maybe perhaps a few others here in Parker, who are still relying on 10.170, and that includes Stroh Ranch. And in fact, I was at a board meeting for Stroh Ranch about a month ago that specifically there was an individual who brought this up. His elderly father couldn't park in the driveway because of the slant. And the board said, well, you need to apply for a variance if you want to park in the street. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. I really understand it's minor. But my ask for you all this evening is that you consult with the distinguished and extraordinarily talented Parker attorney, and I mean that with sincerity. I realize I've been sarcastic, but I actually mean that with sincerity, regarding this issue. And I think the question is, did House Bill 1139 abrogate 10.170? Does Parker still want that enforced? Are we giving police powers to HOAs? What do we want to do with this, especially with our new towing regulations? Who's responsible when somebody mistows? And we have that new legislation that just came this year. So I think these are things that need to be fleshed out. And again, because for us, in the people that I represent, we're looking for some clarification, kind of where's that legal pinch point? So with that, again, I appreciate your time. We have a wonderful community here. I thank you for your efforts, and it's wonderful to own a business here. My mother has retired here. We raise our kids here. It's a wonderful community, so thank you for your time, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Mr. Opfer. Next up is Amy Winju.
Hi, my name is Amy, and I live in Castle Rock. Tonight I want to speak about post-events of Pride. And Pride was held and sponsored by Douglas County Pride at Salisbury Equestrian Park here in Parker on the 4th of August. The first issue I want to talk about is CORAs. It's come to my attention that the town of Parker finds it unreasonable when citizens request a CORA on very specific items. To date, This one person is being told she needs to cough up $600 in order to get simple things like, what's the Douglas County Pride application? I find that a bit ridiculous. Second, I'd like to speak on is regarding the special events permit that was issued to Anya Zavadil of Douglas County Pride at the Special Events Council held on June 20th. There seems to be a conflict regarding whether or not Pride Fest was a public event. Per the permit for the Special Events Resource Guide, page 3, it states, is an event open to the public? An event is clearly open to the public if it's advertised in any public venue to include Facebook, has flyers or posters, and or if a person not on the original guest list can acquire an invitation through a ticket. The answer to all of those questions are yes. Douglas County Pride Fest advertised Pride Fest in public spaces to include Facebook. The third item I'd like to talk on is regarding Pride Fest private security. Per the Parker Police Department, a security guard license is required to work as a security guard in the town of Parker. According to Colorado law, private security requires a license in the state of Colorado. I've been advised by some town council people that, Douglas County Pride had its own private security. We need to define what private security is. Because I'd advise the town to refrain from saying that Douglas County Pride had their own private security, as I can almost guarantee that almost no one within Douglas County Pride working in security has a security license. Furthermore, it behooved the town council to know that the co-founder of Parasol Patrol, Pasha Cohen Ripley, who is part of Douglas County Pride Security, is a former madam, aka pimp, and prostitute. Kinda odd that she hangs around children, don't you think? Let that sink in, because at the June 20th meeting, Anya Zavadil promised that this was a G-rated event, family event, as they handed out Narcan, condoms, gender hormone changing drugs, fentanyl testing strips. Yeah, and a dude misappropriating my gender as he reads to little kids.
Thank you, Ms. Winju.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
have to keep it there. Next up is Jonathan Bonham.
From Castle Rock, and you just read my name. I just wanted to come up here as I know Jimmy spoke at the previous meeting, but I want to speak again for all of the brothers of mine and myself who were there at the event, and just reiterate the message that we had, which was "You are loved" on our shirt. And I find it kind of funny that there was one gentleman toward the front of the event that had a sign that said "Groomers not welcome." I don't think I saw anybody speak to that man the whole day, but we received plenty of FUs and middle fingers. And I just want to let you all know that I am pleased to be reviled for the cause of Christ myself. But despite the actions of some of the council members towards my own mother, I want to reiterate that message again to you, that you are loved with the love of God. And that's a love that comes with accountability. And I'm disturbed by the way children are not considered with that love in the same way that my mother brought me up to be accountable to God in that way. So I want to thank you for the time, and God bless you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bonham. Last up on my list is Alita Yu.
Good evening. My name is Alita Yu, and I'm a resident of Parker. I'm a retired professor, and I served as a senior administrator at Princeton and Rutgers University for 32 years. My purpose for being here is to address some concerns regarding Pride Fest that took place on August 4th at Salisbury Park. First of all, I would like to say that I have no personal objection to what two consenting adults do in the privacy of their home. Many of us have friends and even relatives who are gay. That is not the issue at hand. What I object to is the exposure of underage children to a lifestyle that is contrary to the morals of a Judeo-Christian culture that our nation was founded on. What was once reserved for seedy bars in San Francisco and New York is now openly flaunted in our schools through a woke ideology. Story time for children by men wearing garish makeup and female cross-dressing. Men in underwear gyrating in front of small children. Is this the new normal? God forbid. It appears that on August 4th, there was more security overseeing a peaceful group of praying Christians than there was security for the attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump. Let me be clear. We love our military, our first responders, and our police force. We thank you for your service. However, don't you think that 3 snipers, 2 drones, and a canine dog overseeing a group of peaceful Christians praying outside of the event's perimeter is a bit excessive? Who authorized this event? Who authorized the excessive security for this event? What was the cost for the security, and who paid for this security? Was it taxpayer dollars, or was it a grant that Pride Fest received from the Douglas County Commissioners through flow-through funds from the federal government, which, by the way, comes from taxpayer dollars? Moreover, why were law-abiding Christians exercising their First Amendment rights arrested at this event? What were the grounds for their arrest? I'm told that the Parker Town Manager, Michelle Kevala, authorized Pride Fest. I would like to ask Ms. Kevala that if the Satanic Church or members of the Ku Klux Klan or even members of the Nazi Party filled out the application form, would you have allowed these organizations to hold a meeting on public property? We respectfully ask for an open meeting involving all the key players where these and other questions can be addressed. Accountability and transparency are the hallmarks of a healthy community. Unfortunately, in Parker, this trust has been betrayed.
Thank you, Ms. Yu. I have time in the half an hour for one more speaker. We've got 4 minutes and 25 seconds left. Anyone else wishing to talk on a topic not on tonight's agenda? Okay. We will move on to reports, items, and comments from the mayor and council. And I just want to say for everyone, from Mr. Ofer to you folks over here, thank you all for being here and expressing your First Amendment right. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate it. All right, moving on to reports, items, and councils. I'm going to start to my far right, Councilmember Rivero.
Thank you. Appreciate being here. First, I'd like to start by addressing why we do not directly engage in public comment. What we can engage in and the actions that this council can take have to be posted. There has to be an agenda that is recognized by the public, and that agenda is posted outside that door and it's posted online. We cannot address what you bring in front of you today because the rest of the public, the rest of our constituents are not here to hear what it is we're talking about. So through transparency, we are not allowed to address and tit for tat or discuss what goes on in public comment, even parking. So we thus sit and listen, we take notes, staff takes notes, and we circle back and we get your answers, and that's how this council works, and we do a very, very good job at it. Even those that may not agree with us all the time have commented that we are very thorough in our investigations and in our rulings. So with that said, secondly, I'd like to read a statement, if I may, into the record. As you may be aware, during the Pride Fest event, 4 individuals were arrested by citation. The criminal proceedings will be held in the Town of Parker Municipal Court. Due to the fact that the town's prosecutors will be handling these pending criminal cases, it is unethical for the town, either through its elected representatives or staff, to comment regarding the event and pending criminal charges. That, my friends, is justice. That is the right to a fair trial. Unless next we recognize, this council recognizes, this community recognizes that the mayor is a spokesman for this community. The mayor's role is to speak for council And the mayor had that statement, and I'm sorry that if you did not get it. We have a document here. It is called the Mayor Informational Overview, and under the duties is spokesman for the town of Parker. So answers that are needed or questions that are asked go through the mayor. That's a recognized person that is spoken for this council because the mayor does not vote on ordinances. So the mayor then can speak freely. We cannot have ex parte contact, so we do not speak freely. And then lastly, and it's been mentioned here already, I want to recognize the Parker Police Department because just this weekend we saw an incredible video of an organized shoplifting ring get busted by a onslaught of officers that were there because they were prepared, because they were waiting for something that might never happen. But they were there when it did happen because this department is prepared. It is a job that you don't get to make mistakes in. It is a job that you have to think about all the unforeseens that could happen and be prepared for those unforeseens. I commend this department because this is a safe community. This is a community we raise our kids in. This is the community that we love, and we have the best department in the nation. And I stand behind this department and the decisions they make to protect this community no matter what. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Barrington.
So there has been a lot of scripture thrown around here tonight, and so I'd like to just throw out a little bit of my own. Matthew 6, verse 5, when you pray, do not be like hypocrites. I think that you're meant to pray in private. You don't have to go and interrupt somebody else's event. That's my own personal comment, that I'm not speaking for council. I'm also here just to give some updates of some things that I have done over the past 2 weeks. On August 7th, I met with CORE's Government and Business Relations Manager. On the 8th, I had a committee meeting for the National League of Cities, Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources, where we had discussions around proposed language for climate change, adaptation, and resilience, solid hazardous waste, and water quality and supply. Later that afternoon, along with the rest of council, took part in an exciting groundbreaking ceremony for our town hall expansion. And on the 15th, I had a Community Leaders of America call and then attended a Chamber of Commerce networking event. Then on the 16th, I met with our National League of Cities representative to discuss a vice chair position for the Small Tier Suburbs Committee, which I will discuss with the rest of council at the study session on September 9th. And then we ended the day with a pop-up community outreach event with a couple other council members, Rivero and Brandy Wilkes, at the dog park, where we listened to dog owners discuss what they loved about what they loved about the dog park and some possible changes that they would like to see at the park. So even during the week, when there's not meetings, I think we all keep pretty busy. Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended a Legislations 101 session with several council members and also attended the Parker Cruisers Car Show. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak.
Thank you very much. On the 7th, I was a part of the Douglas County Transportation Forum. We talked about RTD funding partnership program expansion. We here in Parker, we've tried to make the case that we provide much more than we get in service. I think we're probably at 15 to 17 million, I think, of what we calculate as monies that we give that we don't get back in service from RTD. RTD has put in place a grant program which system-wide you can participate or submit for up to $5 million total. So obviously that is not enough for us to do anything tangible here in Parker, let alone fight for other communities, with other communities to secure that funding. So nothing new to increase dramatically that pool at this point in time. There was also a discussion on the DC Transit multimodal connectivity study. That study is headed by Douglas County. We're hopeful to get some sort of metrics, numbers, strategies, programs that can be recommended to Douglas County. That was funded by DRCOG by federal money. So we brought back federal money to create this study. So hopefully we can leverage into monies coming back to Douglas County and Parker. We also got just a brief update on Douglas County is doing a 2050 transportation plan update. They are going to, again, update the transportation plan. They're going to connect with places like Parker, Lone Tree, Castle Rock, Castle Pines, Larkspur. Who else am I missing? Well, Highlands Ranch, they're unincorporated. So, yeah, they'll get with all of us, and we'll roll up our projects to hopefully create some visibility as to what we can foresee in the next 20-some years here in terms of road construction. On the 7th, I was a part of the DRCOG work session. They created an economic development district designation. That's something that ultimately can bring back money for economic development purposes to the region, the Denver metro region, which Douglas County is a part of. I sent those slides, I believe, to our economic development department as well as Michelle at that point. DRCOG also was awarded a $200 million climate pollution reduction grant overview, something, a lot of those words don't really resonate here in Douglas County, especially from a transportation person such as myself. But the task is to see if we can find some monies in there where we can build roads and improve our community by not be hindered by some oversight that would allow us or require us to do something inconsistent with how we live. The 8th, I had an E470 board meeting. We had a finance review. It looks like traffic is trending up. However, expenses due to inflationary pressures on capital construction projects, have increased substantially or continue to increase substantially. So that's the current challenge. We also did a ribbon cutting for our central maintenance facility at E470. That was relocated from the east side of right around 38th and E470 to Stephen Hogan Parkway and E470. It creates more of a campus feel for the administrative building as well as the maintenance people. So that was a good move, in my opinion. And that is all. Thank you.
It's a lot. Councilmember Hefta.
Yes. So I sit on the Douglas County Homeless Committee and the Homeless Engagement and Assistance Resource Team, the HEART team. This past July had a homeless point-in-time count. And this homeless point-in-time count is done across Douglas County by the HEART team. And the HEART team is about 6 members from Douglas County. The point-in-time count is about the following. How many people are sleeping outside by jurisdiction, and the jurisdictions are Castle Pines, Castle Rock, Highlands Ranch, Lone Tree, Parker, and unincorporated other. And that's also by sleeping in vehicle by jurisdiction as well, the same jurisdictions. I'm happy to report that since last year, there is a decrease of 64.28% for people camping in their cars. Currently, there's about 10 people camping in their cars in Parker. And there is a 75% decrease from 22 to 24 of people sleeping outside. 23 to 24 of people sleeping outside. There is 1 person sleeping outside currently. So just to give a brief explanation, the Parker Police Department, in conjunction with the HEART team, if you see a homeless individual and you want to call the HEART team, you can go to homeless.co.us, and you can see the Homeless Engagement Assistance and Resource Team. And you can call the number on their website and report that individual and a member of the HEART team, and possibly Douglas County Sheriff's Office, depending on if you're in an unincorporated Parker, or Parker Police Department may also come assist on that matter. So I just want to put that out there, that our point in time count was done this past July. I also attended the groundbreaking with my fellow town council members for the Phase 3 and Phase 4 of the update to Town Hall that was contemplated 20 years ago. And I also like to say, in Douglas County, it was back to school week for all of Douglas County and for all the children out there. And I have 2 boys myself, and we were busy this week going back to school with all the parents out there. So congratulations to those seniors heading into their senior year.
All right, with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion on the consent agenda item unless council votes to remove an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on the consent agenda item are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion. So, council, before you have items 4A through 4G for your consideration.
I move to approve consent agenda items 4A through G, please.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivera, seconded by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye. Sorry.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. Next up is our first ordinance, ordinance number 9.376 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance approving the intergovernmental agreement between the town of Parker and the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas County regarding cost sharing for the construction of the traffic signal at the intersection of Lincoln Avenue and Village Creek Parkway. Mr. Hudson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the intergovernmental agreement between the town and Douglas County for the traffic signal that's being proposed at Lincoln Avenue and Village Creek Parkway. This is a vicinity map showing you where this location is. It's approximately 800 feet west of the Lincoln Avenue Pine Drive intersection, and it serves an unincorporated development to the south, unincorporated Douglas County development to the south, that's known as Lincoln Creek. Apologize. My notes didn't print out with my notes on them. So a little bit of background on this. For several years, the town has been receiving comments about the need for a traffic signal at this location. We, over the past 5 years, have done several MUTCD warrant studies, not every year, but about every other year. The location did not meet minimums until this past year, earlier this year, when it did meet because of increase in traffic on Lincoln Avenue and the intersection as development to the south is nearly built out. Town routinely seeks funding for traffic signals from adjacent development, and Douglas County got funds for this traffic signal over 20 years ago from the development and has been sitting in an escrow account. We started to commence outreach with the county about possibly building this earlier this year, and Douglas County is in the process of budgeting $600,000 for this signal as their contribution to it. So total construction is estimated $800,000. Douglas County is $600,000, about 75%. Design is underway at this point. We anticipate to have construction next year, assuming that we get funded for this signal yet. And due to lead time, the IGA has some conservative timelines for construction. Basically, award the contract by June 30th of next year and completion the following year in 2026. And staff recommends approval of this IGA. An ordinance is required to approve this IGA, and this item is actually scheduled to go to the Board of County Commissioners on September 10th for their review. With that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Councilmember Dyak, you want to kick us off?
I had a joke about is this Village Road and Hilltop, but that's just an internal Chris, Tom, and John joke there. But no, I mean, again, anytime we could, you have money for something which can provide some safety as well as a little bit of traffic mitigation, congestion relief. I think it's a good thing to take care of it, and we appreciate the commissioners helping us out as well.
So will you be asking questions at
You know what,
comment
Jeff?
time?
I,
Okay,
Mayor,
just-
I'm sorry.
Just asking, just asking.
I'll be mute on the comment. That'll be my comments.
Because you wanted to start with a joke, right?
Yeah, I did.
Councilmember
Got me off
Hefta.
track, got me off track.
Chris, thank you for your presentation. Just the general cost of traffic signals, has that gone up in the last couple of years since 2020?
Yeah, the last couple of years, signals have gone up in the last 2 years about 25% over what they have just during the pandemic. We are getting ready to open some bids this week on a couple more traffic signals, and I might be looking for the AED device in the hall out here to restart my heart when we open that bid, but we're hoping, things have gotten very expensive. I think the county told me they had roughly about $200,000 that they'd gotten from the developer back in about 2002 for this location.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thanks.
Councilmember Rivero?
So just a quick question. This signal will be ours to maintain,
It will be ours to maintain and own.
maintain and own, so then we get to,
Yep.
we get to time it, we get to make sure it works with our system. et
Correct.
cetera,
It'll
et
be
cetera.
tied in with our system and be operated by the town.
And are there BOCC dollars, are those developer dollars, or are those?
So some of it's developer, the rest is their general fund, because they, just like us, have to make up the delta on this. We are looking to give about 200,000. We've annexed and we own Lincoln Avenue. They're paying for about 75% of it, but they are putting in roughly another $400,000 of their own funds, because that $200,000 that they got back in over 20 years ago, that's what they thought a full signal would cost. It's $800,000 today. So 4 times the cost in just over 20 years.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we will open this up for public comment at 7:47. Anyone from the public wishing to make a comment on ordinance number 9.376? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:46. And final comments back from the council in that reverse order, Councilmember Rivero?
Yeah, getting the county to pay for 3/4 of our traffic light. Well done. Appreciate that.
Councilmember Barrington?
No, I think I'm good, thank
All
you.
right, Councilmember Hendricks?
I'm good, thanks.
Councilmember Dyak?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, I appreciate the cooperation with the Douglas County Board of Commissioners, and it's really important for elected officials to stay on good terms with their commissioners, and this is the result of great relationships between our town and the commissioners. So thank you, Public Works and Engineering as well. Thank you.
Great, Council. With that, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 9.376 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.376 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Hendricks, seconded by Hefta. All, Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 5-0. Next up is ordinance number 9.374 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance to approve the intergovernmental agreement by and between the Town of Parker and the Town of Parker Business Improvement District regarding cost sharing for the creation, installation, and maintenance of placemaking improvements in the downtown Parker commercial area, also known as banners, right?
A little bit more than banners.
All right. Well, Carrie Glassburn's here to
Good
talk
stuff.
about that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. During a study session on June 24th, I shared a longer version of this presentation, but not everyone was there. And for those in the public, just wanted to remind you that Parker Arts and the Downtown Business Improvement District, so Tony is here representing them tonight, but we would love to have public art to help make Parker an even better place to visit and live and work and play. So together we have developed a plan for implementing small public art projects in the downtown area that will have a big and immediate impact on the appeal of downtown Main Street. So You have heard about our public art master plan, which you will be hopefully adopting here in the near future, but this plan aligns perfectly with what we have outlined in the public art master plan, and specifically where we call out creative placemaking in downtown Parker. So, as you recall, there are 3 areas that we are eager to work with the bid on, and that is, first of all, banners, as you mentioned, Mayor, murals, and utility wraps. So I'll start first with lamppost banners, because those are the projects that we will be working on first. This is really hard to read, but it's really more of a visual just to show you for reference. This is Main Street, and to the left of it is Parker Road. To the right is Pine, where the library and town hall are. And the town has a total of 59 available lamppost banners. This partnership proposes putting banners on 41 of the lampposts. We intend to space them out strategically, for instance, staying away from active construction areas for the time being, also avoiding poles that may have been blocked by trees or too close to buildings or have speed limit signs on them. But the idea here is to create a visual border on the bookends and all along downtown Main Street that basically says you have arrived in Parker and welcome. So whether the messaging literally says welcome to downtown Parker, or whether it just portrays that message along with maybe encouragements to stay and play and dine and shop, whatever that might be, we'll be working on that. But again, the initial idea is that they would be exchanged twice per year right now, so probably during the holidays, and then more of just a generic welcome message the rest of the year. Reminder, these are not designed at all to be advertising for Parker Arts or for any businesses downtown, but simply to welcome you and let you know you have arrived. Destination placemaking. Moving on to utility wraps, this is another project that we'll be working on, hopefully with the bid. We, Parker Arts, have gotten very positive feedback on the 12 utility wraps that we did last year that we put into place. People are really liking those, so we have plans as a public art committee to do 9 more of those, but we're very excited that the bid has offered to add a 10th to that, and I'll show you the location. Parker Road is what you see there. This is on the corner of Parker Road, Main Street, and this is the grassy area right by Wells Fargo. So that utility box is a little bit of an eyesore already, but it would really serve as a nice palette for us to put a welcoming message on there as well, since in lieu of any big arch or entryway signage right now, the plan would be to have this mirror the messaging and look and feel of what we would do on the banners that would be going along Main Street. The hope is that we would have both of those projects installed this fall. And then the last one I just want to touch on because it's a little further down the road, but we would love to look at exploring doing some murals in the downtown area, or at least a mural. Murals can really be a powerful public art tool for storytelling or just adding some fun and something visually interesting. So we hope that this is a future project for us, so more to come on that if this IGA goes through. Very quickly, how this partnership works. I think the bid is happy to say that we are the experts at knowing how to design and implement these, especially since we already own the lamppost. So we, Parker Arts, would facilitate overseeing all of that. And then both the bid and the town would approve any of the concepts and the costs, as well as core when it's applicable to them on their utility boxes, and also Public Works. The nice thing is that the bid has generously offered with their newfound funding to pay for most of the costs, so the hardware, the design, printing, installation, and maintenance, while Parker Arts will contribute just a small portion of what we had budgeted for already in the public art plan. So with that, we are thrilled to have a partner that shares our mission of improving the downtown Main Street area using public art, and we're excited to get started. So staff would recommend that council approve this IGA that is before you, and I will entertain any questions.
All right. Councilmember Hendricks, you want to kick us off?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
Just curious, how much does one of those wraps roughly cost? And I'm sure, like the one the bid is going to do directly looks like it's a little bit bigger.
It's a little bit bigger. They tend to be around $1,900 each. It really depends, again, on the size of it and all that. You have to really stay away from stickers, vents, handles. But on average, they're about $1,900.
Thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
Thank you. I actually have a question for the bid representative, if that's
Yes.
possible.
Mr. Mango?
Tony, you can just come up here and just get next to Josh and use that microphone.
Since Omar made him come all the way down here 2 weeks ago, I thought I'd
And
make it
then,
worth his
yeah,
time.
just for a first reading.
Yes, sir.
But my question, knowing the artistic abilities of you and our friend Omar, I'm wondering.
Which is zero.
I'm wondering if the bid is going to tap the DBA to help out on picking out some artsy stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, historically, the bid is really the financial, leg in this. I mean, I'm the first to admit I have zero artistic, skills. We have a great partner right here, and she knows how to get stuff done and knows the vendors and everything. So I think it would be a good idea maybe to involve the DBA marketing committee or something like that involved in that.
You know anybody on the marketing committee?
A few people. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Councilmember Dyack, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, yes, Carrie, thank you. You have a team of folks that are designing these murals and these wraps. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, we do. We have, well, first of all, the Fast Signs is the official vendor of the town that already does our banner program. And so they are very familiar with all the specs and requirements to meet the town standards. So we will be working with them. In-house, we have designers as well that do all of our Parker Arts collateral and marketing. So they already also know the brand standards, and we'll just decide how we integrate that with what we do for bid, because it's not going to be town specific. It's really more of a general welcoming message. But we definitely have experienced designers on staff that will be doing that. And then, as I said, this is not something that just we decide or just the bid decides. We will be sharing it out so the bid can share it with the DBA, and we will make sure that we're all aligned before we move forward with printing.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we'll open it up for public comment at 7:57. If anyone from the public, Tony, you can be a public member too, if you want, has a comment. Seeing none, we'll close that at 7:57 and bring it back to council in that same order for any final comments. Councilmember Hendricks?
Yeah, great. Always great to have more art options in town, and it makes it a more energetic and beautiful place. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
Great partnership, and I love how you said you're going to know when you have arrived. And I've been to several other business improvement districts, and they have similar signage, and you can just tell the difference. It's kind of like you've entered the zone. Great job.
Councilmember Rivera?
Yeah, I echo exactly what Ann just said. I've been to, and you showed some pictures of exactly that in Castle Rock and Pueblo, et cetera. And it's really going to be nice. And to see the bid come to fruition and this partnership and allowing an investment in what is the postage stamp of Parker is truly, it's a beautiful thing to see. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyack?
Just supportive. Thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Thank you for the partnership between Parker Arts and the BID, Downtown Business Association, and the Parker Downtown Business Improvement District. And I'm especially excited about that utility box that you mentioned being wrapped off Parker Road, because that does stand out. And so that's wonderful if that can be one of the first things, because that's kind of like the welcome to our town. So thank you, Carrie. And thank you, Tony Mango.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 9.374.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.374 on second reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Barrington, seconded by Rivera. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. And Carrie, I have to tell you, my favorite one is the Charlie O'Brien rap.
Yeah.
The unofficial Mayor Parker.
Yep.
It's an amazing history. All right. The attorney gives us the easy one tonight. Ordinance number 8.20.7 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance to amend Chapter 4.07 of the Parker Municipal Code concerning development excise tax. Mr. Maloney.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Evening.
Excise tax. As the mayor said, the most exciting item on your agenda this evening. So Chapter 4.07 of the Park Municipal Code establishes a credit against the development excise tax, and this is used as an incentive for the construction of certain recreational facilities. Again, this is a defined term. A regional park facility can receive a credit of up to 29%, while a recreational facility, another defined term, can receive a credit up to 48% of the maximum credit that's allowed under the excise tax ordinance. The proposed amendment to the excise tax ordinance will revise the definitions for regional park facility and recreational facility to align with the park's development standards that are contained in the land development ordinance. And then just so you know, I worked with Recreation in order to realign the definitions so they at least make more sense in the context of how we actually develop park and park amenities. Some of the park amenities that are included in the definition of a regional park facility should be included in the definition of recreational facility. And then similarly, some of the park amenities included in the definition of recreational facility should be included in the definition for regional park facility. That's the current problem, so that's the reason for the realignment. So the proposed amendment replaces regional park facility with community park facility. In the land development ordinance, we don't call it a regional park facility. We refer to them as community park facilities, and they have their own set of amenities. So we're trying to get the amenities in the LDO to reflect, one, the correct term, but also the type of amenities that are allowed under that term, which in this case would now be community park facilities. The new definition for community park facility would specifically exclude park amenities that should only be included in certain recreational facilities. Again, a defined term. This would include, again, this would be excluded from community and added to recreational facility. It would include recreation centers, gyms, field houses, natatoriums, swimming pools, splash ponds, and water play features, activity building, clubhouse, and environmental education centers. The reason for that is these are high-cost items. These are vertically constructed items. This is not a park. It's not a ball field. It's something that costs a developer a lot of money, and under this definition, they would get a credit of up to 48%, while the regional park facility would only get a credit up to 28%. And so all we're doing with this proposed amendment is changing the definitions, realigning the correct amenities with the appropriate definition. We are not changing the percentage allocation. It'll still be 48% and 28%. 48% for recreational facility, again, things like rec centers, gyms, natatoriums, and then for community park facilities, it's going to be up to 28%. I know that's confusing, but that's one way to correct the excise tax ordinance and, again, have it align with the park amenities section of the land development ordinance. Any questions, Mayor or Council?
Great. Let's start with Councilmember Hefta on questions.
No questions.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, so Jim, this is like cleanup. clean up to create clarity for anybody in the future who wants to potentially take advantage of these opportunities?
Correct. We want to provide clarity so that we don't have an argument as to what is included in what definition, and do I get 28% or do I get the higher percentage of 48%? I think this adds a lot more certainty.
Great, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No, you answered my questions. Thank you.
And Councilmember Rivera?
Questions?
All right.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thanks, Jim. With that, we will go to public comment at 8:04. If anyone from the public wishes to make comment. See none, we'll close it at 8:04 and bring it back to council in that reverse order for any final comments. Councilmember Rivera?
Yeah, I think John asked the question that we were all thinking, and is exactly that. This is just cleanup and clarity, creates a more readable and understandable, despite what Jim said. It's less confusing now, I think. So well done, good catch, and look forward to working with our development partners.
Councilmember Barrington?
Yep, I think this just takes the confusion away or out of it for everyone. So thank you.
Councilmember Dyak? I'm
So
sorry,
I-
Councilmember Hendricks. I'm sorry. I just crossed.
Whoa.
Sorry, apologies.
I agree with my fellow council members. Seems pretty straightforward. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
I'm just thankful I asked a question in the question section.
We're all happy to.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Thank you to the legal team for the clarity on this matter.
Great. With that, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 8.20.7.
I move to approve ordinance number 8.20.7, please.
Second?
Motion was made by Rivera, seconded by Hefta. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak? Yes. Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. Next up of our ordinances, of course, it wouldn't be a night without a Mr. Burke ordinance. So here we go. Ordinance number 9.375 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance approving the intergovernmental agreement between the Town of Parker and the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas County regarding cost sharing for the construction of the Lincoln Avenue Widening and Improvement Project, Jordan to Parker Road.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Are you all done with the rest of them? Now we're to the county?
We're not quite done with the
Okay,
rest,
all
but I thought I'd give you a break and bring you something new.
Appreciate it.
So a little background, as you're aware, this project's been in the making for quite a while. Town's been preparing for the widening of Lincoln Avenue for the past 2 decades. It's an important component to Parker's long-term transportation plan. It's aimed to alleviate traffic congestion within and around the town. We do have a portion of this project that is located within unincorporated Douglas County, primarily on the far west side of the project near Keystone Boulevard, as well as in front of the Recreation Center. So Douglas County has been partnering with the town on this project since the design started a few years ago. Vicinity map showing the project limits on Lincoln Avenue. So this starts just to the west of Keystone Boulevard and goes to Parker Road. So the town and Douglas County originally entered into an intergovernmental agreement for the conceptual and preliminary design in May of 21. That IGA was amended in 22 to add additional funds from the county. On the design side of things, preliminary design contract was awarded in September of 21, with a final design contract awarded in February of 23. So at this point, we're getting close to the end of design. We're getting close to the end of acquiring all the easements and acquisitions that we need to construct this project. And so Douglas County has requested, rather than amending the original IGA that we had, that we create a new IGA for construction funding. So Douglas County is committing $9 million in funding for construction. Total cost for just the Lincoln portion of this project is over $24 million. We're anticipating to bid this project either fourth quarter of 24 or first quarter of 25. Some of that's pending the last couple easement acquisitions we're waiting on. We did build in some variability in the IGA, so we have a flexible construction award date of June 30th of 25 and a substantial completion date of December 31st of 26. An ordinance is required to approve this IGA. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance. The Douglas County Board of County Commissioners are scheduled to review this IGA at their September 10th business meeting. And with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Great. Councilmember Dyak, do you want to kick us off?
I have no more questions to me, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
About how long do you think this would take if approved?
I guess, can you ask that a different, I don't understand the question, sorry.
How long would the construction take on this matter?
Oh, so we're probably looking at roughly a year and a half is what we're planning.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions, thanks.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
No questions.
All right, with that, we'll go to public comment at 8:10. For anyone, public wishing to make public comment? All tongue-tied. Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:10 and bring it back in reverse order to the council for final comments. Councilmember Rivera?
Thank you once again. As Councilman Hefta pointed out during the discussion with the light, incredible partners at Douglas County. Truly, truly appreciate the BOCC keeping an eye on Parker and writing a check once in a while. So well done, good work, keep it up.
Councilmember Barrington?
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No, it's exciting, but busy times in Parker with all these infrastructure improvements. Some pain, but in the long term, it's going to be great. So I'm excited.
Councilmember Dyak?
No, again, this is one of those projects. We're kind of going through them. We're getting close to full build out. Lincoln and then Stroh and then Crowfoot. We got chambers already in the hopper. It's just great that we have the ability, the vision and the ability to continue to build out our plan. Thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Thank you for continuing with this project. 20 years later, we're going to get to see this completed soon. Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 9.375.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.375 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. Thank you, sir. Next up is ordinance number 9.359.1 on second reading, and there's a request to continue this to a date certain of September 3rd, 2024, so I'll entertain a motion on the extension.
I move to continue ordinance number 9.359.1 for second reading to a date certain of September the 3rd, 2024, please.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivera, seconded by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. Next is ordinance number 12.05.14 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to amend section 2.04.040 of the Parker Municipal Code concerning rules and procedures of the Cultural and Scientific Commission. Director
Hi
Glassman,
again.
you're back.
I'm back. I thought I'd mix it up and stand up this time. So, before I get into the ordinance that we're here to talk about, I just want to give you a little bit of background and so we all are on the same page. I think most of you are familiar with the Cultural Commission, but for those of you who might not be, the overarching mission of the commission is to provide cultural experiences, so that would be art, music, theater, dance, along with any scientific and educational opportunities to the community. The members, as you know, are appointed by you, town council, and they serve as an advisory group to us, the cultural department. What you might not know is that the Parker Cultural Commission was founded way back in 1992, so long time ago, and then in 2009 they added the scientific focus as well. My point is that this commission and its efforts have been around for a very long time. Now, unlike some other boards that really are there just to make recommendations and advise the staff, this Cultural Commission has always been a working commission. So for instance, I don't know if any of you attended our Honey Festival only a few weeks ago, but the commission, they emceed the event. They helped find those honey-related vendors that were there that would educate the attendees. They came up with and oversaw the craft that was done with the kids. They hosted the tasting contest. They handed out flyers. They manned the booth. And the Honey Festival is just one example, as you can see, of the many, many events and initiatives that the commission oversees. So because of that, it has been necessary over the years, the sheer volume of work that we're doing, we have had to create subcommittees underneath the Cultural Commission to actually do that work, to plan it, because the commission itself only meets every other month, and we just do not have the time with that to plan each of those events, especially when a lot of them happen during the summer. So those committees, who sits on these committees right now, they consist of Parker Art staff, so we always have a staff member from my team on there. We have one commissioner who serves on that committee as the liaison and as the chair, and they report back up and bring any important information back to the whole commission. Most of our committees have multiple commissioners serving on there. They're not just one. But then we also include subject matter experts. So for the Honey Festival, it would be beekeepers. For the art committee, it's artists. For the science committee, we have scientists on there, and so on. Then we also just have regular members of the committee, citizens that serve on this. So they really are necessary to help us get the work done, and then it's the commission that is deciding on any votes and making the kind of higher level decisions that take place and giving us the direction. So that was just background to get you to the proposed change and the business of why we're here tonight. So as we, in legal, we're reviewing the rules and procedures for the Cultural and Scientific Commission, it kind of came to our attention that the only committee that was called out in the code was the Art and Public Places Committee. And these committees are not necessarily new, but obviously the code had not been updated. So as before, this is kind of cleanup, just to make sure it gives us that flexibility. It refers to the committees generically rather than naming any specific committee, so that we can get the work done that we need to get done. So we will be, as we're going through all this cleanup, we are going to be revising the rules and procedures for the Cultural Commission. We also are taking a good look at the Public Art Committee and the work that's done there and the type of the decisions that are being made, and you'll see some other agenda items coming up related to that in the near future. But in the meantime, that is the change that we're recommending be made to the code, and we recommend that council approves ordinance number 12.05.14. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Hefty, you want to kick us off?
No questions.
Councilmember Dyak?
No questions.
Councilmember Hendrick?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions.
Councilmember Rivera?
No questions.
Clean sweep. All right, we'll open it up for public comment at 8:17. If anyone from the public is still here. See none, we'll close it at 8:17 and bring it back for any final comments. Councilmember Rivera?
Yeah, I wanted to learn more about this, so I reached out to Carrie, and we sat down and we talked, and thanks to Michael for initiating that. And I found a lot about it and a lot that they do. I was thoroughly impressed. I am one that is usually always afraid of committee creep. Sometimes committees are where things go to die because there's too many committees or the board doesn't want to make a decision or whatever it may be. I am also afraid that sometimes in committees decisions are made that the board just rubber stamps or takes for granted, and I always want there to be a board decision and not a committee decision. I was reassured and feel very, very good that these committees are working committees and they do incredible work for Parker Arts, and they allow the commission to do the work that they do. So I am very much in favor of this.
Great. Councilmember Barrington?
Well, thank you. I think it all makes sense. So I support this.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Yeah, I support this too. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
No issues with the cleanup. And again, just to echo Councilmember Rivero's comments, being a liaison and sort of dropping in every so often, the people who sit on this board, this committee, this commission, have nothing but more that entrepreneurial spirit. How can we give Parker something else? And if there's an idea, bring it and let's think about it. I think before my time, it was the public lecture series and then the Honey Festival, and there's just a whole host of others. So again, we're just grateful and thankful to have these people who want to provide events and education to our citizens. Thanks.
Councilmember Hefta.
Yeah, there are so many great ways for residents of Parker to get involved. And here we have 6 different committees under the Parker Cultural and Scientific Commission. And we had a wonderful briefing by Carrie that explains how interested citizens that want to contribute to Parker and want to have a purpose in the art that's in our town can get involved, along with the scientific issues as well. So thank you, Carrie.
Great. With that, we will entertain a motion on ordinance number 12.05.14.
Oops.
I move to approve ordinance number 12.05.14 on second reading.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Hefta, seconded by Barrington. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. Last of our ordinances, ordinance number 9.358.1 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the First Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement by and between the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners and the Town of Parker, Parker Police Department for Services. Commander Dagenhart. Kelsey, are you?
I'm coming up with Joe to help with the contract thing. Do you want me to
All right.
speak? Or?
Sure.
Okay. I helped to negotiate it, so I was like, it'll be easier. Oh, thank you so much. All right, so before you have an amendment to an IGA that you signed last year with the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners. This was for about $178,000 and change to fund our additional CRT officer. We had a separate one for the car. So they approached us in the middle of summer, and they said, hey, we'd like to kick in $4,000 more, and we would like to extend the term through the end of 2024 so they can continue to pay the invoices. So they kind of pay us in tranches. We don't get it all up front. That's essentially what this does. So anything from you, Joe?
No, it's an extra $4,000 to the town, so.
Well put.
Asking for that approval.
All right, let's go to questions. Councilmember Rivera, you want to kick us off?
So what caused the generosity from the county? They're on a roll tonight, by the way, so why do they want to kick in extra for? Was that an ask by us, or is there just a recognized increase in costs, or?
It was a recognized increase in costs, and I think they came into some more grant funds.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Excellent.
Councilmember Barrington?
That just answered my question. Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions, thanks.
Councilmember Dyak?
We should have a county tote board, just to kind of let us know how much they're giving us.
We don't want them to track that, too.
Well, it's just transparency.
Keep coming.
Thank you. Nothing.
Councilmember Hefta?
No questions.
All right, with that, we'll open it for public comment at 8:22. Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:22. Council, in that reverse order. Councilmember Hefta, any final comments?
No, I just appreciate, again, the cooperation with Douglas County and recognizing the ability to give us this money, and Commander Dagenhart and our attorney, Kelsey. So thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
No, I again, supportive of the issue. Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
I'm supportive as well. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
Thanks for negotiating. Great.
Councilmember Rivera?
No, this is incredible for those. I missed if it was already stated, but CRT is Community Response Team. This is a car that a post-certified officer and a clinical technician ride together in, and it is incredibly valuable. Councilmember Barrington and I watched some videos when they were in action, and absolutely incredible asset for our community and for our department. So well done.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion on 9.358.1 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.358.1 on second reading, please.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivera, seconded by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution number 24-039, a resolution to exempt certain real property commonly known as the E470 Apple Green Travel Plaza property from the definition of subdivision and subdivided land as contained in the Town of Parker Land Development Ordinance. Hey, Amber.
Hello.
This sounds complicated.
It's not that complicated.
Okay, all right.
Maybe a little bit. I'll explain it.
So actually, Amber, before you go, can I ask legal a question? Should I abstain or recuse myself since this is an E470 matter, in E470 agendas that notice the town of Parker, I just recuse myself without asking the board. So I'm asking your advice on what I should do in this situation.
I mean, ultimately, council makes the decision if there's a conflict. If you're not voting on 470 matters, though, there shouldn't be an impact on Parker matters if that's where your vote will be.
Okay, so maybe just
Yeah.
ask the council.
Council, is there any motion on a conflict of interest here?
There's no motion for me. I have done the same thing multiple times, and if I'm not voting on one, then I find it's okay to vote on the other.
Anyone? All right, seeing none, let's proceed.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Town Council. Again, this is the Apple Green filing number 1 exemption plat. The subject property, highlighted in red here, is located on the north side of E470 between Chambers Road and Peoria Street. The site was originally developed as part of Toll Plaza A that was originally used to support manned toll booths along the highway. Toll Plaza A is no longer in service as the E470 Highway Authority has implemented automated tolling. In 2012, the town annexed 189.2 acres of E470 right-of-way. As part of the annexation process, the town rezoned 249.7 acres of unplatted land owned by the E470 Highway Authority as the E470 Planned Area Development. The E470 Area PD permits a number of highway-serving commercial uses. E470 is proposing to plat 7.7 acres of that larger E470 right-of-way into one lot for future use as a travel plaza, which will include a gas station, convenience store, and a restaurant. The travel plaza is a permitted use within the E470 area PD. That site plan has been running concurrent with this exemption plat and is currently under review by staff. Pursuant to the Land Development Ordinance, all 249.7 acres of the E470 Highway Authority property would need to be platted in order to create the proposed 7.7 acre lot for the planned travel plaza. This would be the case even though the remainder of the property would remain undeveloped and continue to be used as a public highway without any changes. The town is therefore processing an exemption plat to allow the applicant to create this 7.7 acre lot for the travel plaza use without the need to plat the remaining 249.7 acre property. The E470 Highway Authority and their development partner Apple Green have submitted a site plan application for the planned travel plaza that is currently under review. This will be approved after the approval and recordation of this exemption plat. Staff is recommending the approval of Apple Green filing number 1 exemption plat. That concludes my presentation. The applicant is not present tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Dyke, you want to kick us off?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
No questions.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No question.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
No questions.
All right, with that, we'll open it for public comment at 8:27. Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:27 and bring it back in that reverse order. Councilmember Rivera?
I just want to say thank you for sticking around late on the docket tonight and appreciate your patience. No, this is a simple split of property, so they simply want to develop a bit and not the whole thing, and fully understand why they're doing it.
Councilmember Barrington?
No comments, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Hendricks?
I'm good.
Councilmember Dyke?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm involved in more than just this ask. So, I mean, this is very straightforward, and it feels like I would have no issues with this.
And Councilmember Hefta?
No comment.
With that, I'll entertain a motion on resolution number 24-039.
I move to approve resolution number 24-039 as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivera, seconded by Hefta. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. Last up is contracts over $500,000. Hilltop Road Sidewalk, Hidden River Lane to Tallman, CIP 22-052-CI. Mr. Gill, thanks for waiting so long, sir.
He's always last with his
Well,
contract.
it's been an interesting meeting, so no problem. So I'll get started here. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I'm presenting on the proposed Hilltop Road Sidewalk project. First, a little background. Currently, we have a sidewalk gap on the east side of Hilltop Road between Tallman Drive and Narrow Pine Parkway. A new sidewalk to fill this gap is being proposed to improve pedestrian safety and connectivity on this segment of Hilltop Road. Town staff has been meeting and coordinating with Hidden River 2 Homeowners Association over the past year on this project, and they have agreed to have the work completed. And I've provided a little vicinity map here. So it starts up on, let's see, sorry, Hilltop, and extends down the narrow Pine Parkway. There's about 1,900 lineal feet of 8-foot sidewalk and 500 lineal foot of masonry landscape wall included in this project. So we received bids from 11 contractors, and I've included the lowest 5 bidders, which were all very close, it's always good news when there are tight bids like that. And as can be read, ABC Asphalt out of Brighton was the lowest responsible bidder at $557,598. The engineer's estimate was $620,000, so we're feeling pretty good about it. So the contractor, ABC, they provided 4 references, and they gave, all the references gave positive feedback, and they mentioned that they were very fast and their work was excellent. In addition, I stopped by one of the recent projects in Aurora at Traverse Academy that included the work they did up there was curb chase drains, cross pans, domed curb ramps, curb and gutter, and sidewalks. So there's quite a bit to look at. All the work looked very professionally done. I was pretty impressed. So this project includes a December 20th, 24 completion date. So considering what has been presented, staff recommends award of the contract. Any questions?
All right, Councilmember Hendricks, questions?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
Sorry if I missed this. Is this the first time we've worked with ABC?
Yes.
Okay. And just for my own edification, is Sabel Civil, is that the same as Sabel's Landscaping? Same company?
I don't know. Maybe Chris.
You don't, it's not Paradigm.
I wasn't familiar with them.
Okay. So Concrete Express is doing stream reclamation and Sabel's is doing sidewalks.
Councilmember Dyak, questions?
Tom, has any references that was provided by contractors come out bad? I mean,
what do you think?
The answer would be no, but I just figured I'd ask that silly question and maybe I get a silly response.
Well, one time I'll tell you, somebody asked me to be a reference, and I was quite shocked. I was like, because I wasn't going to give a very good one.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, so there just is no sidewalk there right now, right? People are kind of walking on the grass, and this has been there since the development started, so that would be back in the 80s, you think?
20, 25 years, Chris.
So the development predates the road actually being improved. So the sidewalk was part of the project that was improved Hilltop Road. It was cut from the project due to budget back in 1999 or 2000, right about the same time I started. So this sidewalk was originally contemplated, cut due to budget. We're getting back around to it. Again, developments happened to the south, Laura. We've got pedestrians now coming through, and it needs to get taken care of.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. Go ahead and open it for public comment at 8:32 and close that at 8:32. Bring it back to council in that reverse order. Councilmember Hefta, any final comments?
Yeah, I always appreciate public works and engineering, improving our town, and I always appreciate sidewalks and traffic lights. Unfortunately, we have to deal with speeders in our town that our police have to take care of. And this is always a good thing if we can improve safety in our town, because we do have a lot more people walking and taking bikes. So I'm very happy that we're doing this. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Dyak?
No, again, anytime we can get one of these capital projects taken care of, that's a good thing for our citizens.
Councilmember Hendricks?
I'm in agreement and in support of this. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
Anytime we can improve safety and connectivity, I think that's a great thing. And thank you for all of your thorough research on this. And
You're welcome.
And Councilmember Rivera.
Yeah, this is much needed near an elementary school, and there is a social trail that the kids are walking. You can see the kids daily, so much needed, and really glad we're getting it done. Fully understand why previous council had to cut it back in the day, and I'm glad that we can honor it today.
All right. With that, we will entertain a motion on CIP 22052-ZI.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Hendricks. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 5-0. With no other business before the Parker Town Council, we'll adjourn at 8:34.
Thank you.